Ways to capture student learning with Canva. So we're going to really talk today about using it with students in the classroom, how it supports the entire learner journey, and how it supports what you're already doing in the classroom with Canva. So again, if you're able to log in, that is helpful to Canva. And then I am going to share these slides afterwards. I know we have these floating around, so you will have access to some of these things as well as our teacher resource page. So since there are some new users, I'm going to quickly go through what Canva is. So Canva at its core is a visual communications platform. So anything you want to create or communicate with Canva, you can do that. You can create it. I think Canva sometimes in the beginning gets known for certain things or people know how to use it for a couple things, but we truly do have a full visual work suite. So we have everything from documents to whiteboards, presentations, social media, video, print products, and even websites. So let's talk about what you can do in Canva. So with Canva for Education, there's 80,000 education-specific templates, but there are over 3 million templates in the template library. So this is by no means every single thing that you can create in Canva. It's just a broad list. And we use this in our overview sessions all the time. So if you've joined a session with me, you have seen this before, but we like to share this especially in here as well, just to really kind of remind you there are so many different options that you can create in Canva. And again, this is not everything. It's just a kind of a random list. What you'll notice is there are a lot of things on here that are not necessarily education specific. We're not solely an education company, but a lot of them can be easily flipped into the classroom. We're going to dive into changing things up in your classroom. So now that you've kind of thought about what you currently do, think about those projects and assignments that you usually give kids. The goal is to support what you're already doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or make up a reason to use Canva. There's lots of things that you already do that Canva can support. For example, you can bring any design to life. And so what we mean by this is you can take things that you would typically do, kind of reimagine them a little bit within Canva. So for example, you could have a poster here. This poster, you could have students create a poster on paper. You could have students create a poster digitally in Canva. You can have them create a digital one pager too, same type of idea with text and image. But instead of just doing posters and one pagers, you could have them create a t-shirt design. They're still using tech, they're still using image to demonstrate their understanding of a topic, but they could preview it on a t-shirt or a water bottle or a coffee mug or whatever it might be. So kind of just some fun ways to reimagine some of these things. Also, creatively presenting information. So if you have in any way, shape, or form something where students can fill out a worksheet or or create a slide or a presentation. They can do a lot of other things with that information. This is a very small idea, but you can, create ID cards. You could create postcards, mock social media posts, scrapbook pages, newspapers. This is an actual example from a 7th grade student. She created a mock Instagram post for this historical figure. You could create trading cards. Again, there's so many ways to present that information with beyond just slides and worksheets. So I love it. Jerseys and merch for there's sports teams and ELA. That's a fantastic idea in the chat. I love that. You can design websites. Student websites are a little trickier because they don't have quite the ability to publish. But yes, as a teacher, landing pages for websites are great as well. Lots of options. You also have lots of really great easy video tools. So again, we're going to talk a little bit of video today, but our video editor is simple to use. But I also think when you hear the word video, sometimes we think huge production, and it doesn't have to be. So video can be as simple as an animated text and a moving image. It could be solving a math problem really quickly. It doesn't have to be a full-blown recording. We also have tools like a video background remover, where you can not only record yourself writing Canva, but you can remove the background. And we're going to take a look at that as well. But again, lots of ways to really kind of bring learning to life with quick video tools. So how can Canva be used to capture the student learning journey? We're going to take a look at a student as a whole. So we're going to look at this in 5 pockets. Normally we do some brainstorming together, but we're going to use the chat for this as well. But we're going to take a look again from the learner, from the beginning of the learning journey all the way to the end, starting with executive functioning. So that term may not quite be as universal, but really what we mean is how do we help students be good students, right? Time management, organization, accountability, all of those things. So if you think for maybe 30 seconds to yourself around things that you do in your own classroom to support executive functioning. It doesn't have to be using Canva, but in general, what are some ways that you could help students really be good students in your classroom? If there's anything that you do or you think you do to support this, if you want to drop it in the chat, again, I know we're going to use the chat a little bit today. I just always like to kind of think about what you might currently be doing to support that executive functioning or helping students be good students. And then we'll share a few ways that Canva can help support that as well. Agendas on your panel, absolutely. Again, those visual schedules, those visual pieces for students, love that. Anything else as far as kind of those organizational skills or tools for students to kind of help them with their management, time management, being good students? I am going to share timers. Yep, setting timers so they have a clear expectation. Love that. Embedded timers on slides. We're going to talk about Canva timers as well. Canva has the ability to set timers. As we go through these next couple pieces, down here in the bottom left, you're going to see this magnifying glass with a search term. If you like what you hear, if you want to come back to this, we are going to have a chance to dive through our template library. So if you see something you like, make yourself a mental note, jot yourself a note. You're going to have a chance to search for these later as well. The upcoming calendar events, love it. Slides for what they need to write in their agenda, absolutely. Checklists, weekly goals, love. So goal setting. You can make your goal setting really visual for students and share these digitally. They could build on them week by week. And so you could have students, the nice thing about some of our templates is you could have them handwrite in here. They can draw, they can add graphics or photos or images, and they can add text. So you can really make it come alive for them. Student planners, there was lots of things about planners and agendas in here. You can have students customize their own planner pages. I taught middle school for most of my career, so teaching them to figure this out is really important for them as they go into high school. So I taught all my students that, not every planner page is going to work for every kid. So creating something that's going to work for them. Some kids need the hour by hour schedule. Some of them want an assignment or a checklist or notes or whatever it might be. They can prioritize things. And so being able to create their own planners that they can, again, type in, handwrite, print out, use and print, whatever might work best. Super easy ways to help students stay on track. Same with our habit trackers. And again, what I also love about Canva is that you don't have to use everything exactly how it's intended. This could be a habit tracker, or you could change a few of the words. It can be a reading tracker. It can be an assignment tracker. It can be all sorts of different things. Practice tracker, right? And so you could easily grab these, modify and adjust, and use them however you might need. Oh, the other nice thing with student planners, I'm going to backtrack really fast, is they can create their own custom theme too, right? They can have cats and sports and whatever they want. Same thing with these. You can create your own theme, give it a little bit of whatever it might be, depending on what they're tracking, and then again, have them digital or in print. All right, so executive functioning, there were lots of great goals. Same with activating prior knowledge. So as we think about that activating prior knowledge, I feel like this section and the next one kind of blend into each other. So you'll see a lot of crossover, but activating prior knowledge as we go into a new lesson or a new unit, or as you get new students at the start of a quarter or the year. Some ways that Canva can support that activating prior knowledge is with something like a KWL chart. So again, these could be really visual. They could be really simple. They could be really graphically animated for younger learners. You could have drag and drop. Again, they can handwrite, they can draw, they can type. We have lots of different organizers, but KWL is a big one. Lots of easy ways. And you could do this as a whole class as well. You could put this on your ClearTouch, do it as a whole class, or have them do it independently or in small groups. Brainstorming, lots of easy ways to do this. Again, independent, small group, whole group. You could put this on the board. You could have kind of more of a whiteboard, and you can have them write sticky notes and brainstorm collaboratively. I'm going to show you a really cool trick at the end. Our AI that's now built into Canva that's sort of brand new makes this so much easier and so much faster for students. So I can't wait to share that with you, but lots of great ways to brainstorm in Canva. Same thing with mind mapping. So lots of great ways to mind map. Sometimes you have these, we think mind map and we think this kind of web, but we have lots of great other templates that go along with mind mapping to kind of connect those concepts, think about what they already know, and then add to it as they're continuing to learn. Visual analysis, we have 100 million elements in Canva. We have a huge photo library. So being able to bring in images, have them reflect on what they think is happening, what they might already know about the image, whatever that might be, whether on a whiteboard or, as a whole class. Easy ways to kind of grab that visual and connect that to their activate their prior knowledge that way. And then capture student learning. So again, these two I kind of feel like blend together. This is a little bit more around those visual thinking strategies. So as they're learning, how can we capture what they're learning as they're learning it? So brainstorm, mind map, all of those can kind of tie hand in hand. Also things like digital notebooks. So being able to take the notebook, the planner page, the tracker page, their warm-ups, their schedule, and keep it all in one design. We have lots of great notebook templates for that. And again, then you have them digitally. So there's one way to do that in Canva. Same with graphic organizers. We talked about KWL charts. You can type in graphic organizer in our template library and you'll find a lot of them. You can type in specific types of graphic organizers. So KWL chart, but Venn diagram, compare, contrast, plot mounted, writing graphic organizers, you name it. And again, what's nice is if you find the one you like, maybe it's not on the right topic, you can just easily change the words and most of the work is done for you. Flashcards, card sorting activities. We have a ton of these as well, from something really simple to something more complex. And again, because they can handwrite and draw, they can label and draw models of things as well as add text, even videos and photos. So lots of ways to make these really interactive. And then this is kind of the meat, right? The demonstration of learning. These are those project-based pieces. How do they show what they know? How do they show their understanding of something? So this is kind of the bulk of our sections here. So some ways to spin some traditional projects are things like maybe they're creating a resume. I mean, you can teach kids to create their own resumes, which is great for those, upper level high school students who are getting ready. I also used to teach this to my 8th graders because then it showed them what they might need to do throughout high school to build a resume. But really, this teacher, we stole it from a teacher. We didn't steal it. We asked to borrow it. His idea, and these are his examples. But he uses it to teach research methods, as well as finding the right information and then sharing it. And they actually have, beyond this, they go and they do interviews as these characters. They do it with historical figures. You could do it with a book character. You could do it with cartoon characters, all kinds of things. Lots of ways to kind of gather that information, and instead of just putting it on a slide, here's another thing you can do with that. Infographics. I love infographics. I used to do this with my kids all the time. That's how I started. There's so many different types of infographics that sometimes I think we don't even realize. The hiccups, I'm so sorry. It can be used to show data. So we have custom charts where you can add in your own data. We have all kinds of things. So it could be used to visualize data from a lab or from research. It can be used to show just information. It can be used to show the process of something, step by step, how something happened, or how something works. We have vertical and horizontal ones that are timelines. If you do timelines in your classroom, you can even elevate these by adding some animation to them and some different things like that. So tons of great ways to use infographics in the classroom. And then it kind of along the same lines as timelines, sometimes even just like an infographic or a poster or that much space is not enough space. So we have lots of great timelines that are actually built into our whiteboard templates as well, which is more of that infinite space. So you could have some really fun interactive animated timelines. You can embed video in here, and just gives you a little bit more space when it comes to creating those timelines. Things like magazine covers, magazine newspaper covers, different things like this. This is an example of students creating digital magazines about a topic, magazine covers, all sorts of different things when it comes to gathering facts and then again presenting that information. I thought I saw something about a magazine in the chat at some point, so no, those are being used as well. Podcasting, also have a little soft spot for podcasting. I was ELA, taught language arts. I used to teach, obviously there's a time and place for a full essay, argumentative, informational, whatever it might be. But I also think there's a reason or a great opportunity to take, whether it's to take the whole essay and then turn it into a script, or in lieu of writing the essay or paragraph, they can write a podcast script. They're still making a claim. They still have their evidence and reasoning. I've seen this done in upper level AP biology classes. I've seen this done in 3rd grade. So for book talks, there's lots of ways to think about this, but students can grab a podcast cover. They can add their own images, put their topic in, they can record themselves right in Canva. We have a full audio library where they add in a few sound effects, maybe an intro music, an outro sound. things like that. And then in a few class periods, they have a full podcast or a little mini podcast that they can share with their classmates. So again, I'll share my slides, but this is actually a 7th grade set of students who created this podcast on westward expansion. We have explainer videos. So talking about video, again, kind of looping back to that, video doesn't have to be a huge production. What I love about this example here is you'll see it's just using stock video from Canva, along with some graphics and stickers and text and a little bit of animation. And now you have a video explaining a topic. It doesn't have to be a huge recorded production. Students could voice narrate over this if they wanted as well. Again, they can record right in Canva, but easily just adding a little bit of animation, a little bit of photos and videos from our library, and now you have a whole explainer video. And there's even templates where these frames are built in there. They plug in their own video, they change the text, and they're good to go. Same with book trailers. So again, being able to grab our graphics, represent the characters, narrate, a little bit of animation, and now you've created an entire book trailer, whether it's summarizing a chapter or a book or whatever that might be. Game presentations, I think immediately when I say that, everybody's brain goes to the Jeopardy style game, right? With the columns and the amounts and things like that. We have a lot of those, but we also have a lot of other different style games. Trivia games, this or that, icebreaker games, warm-up games, game board, word games, math games, lots and lots of different games. So students can create these as a project or as a review. You can do them whole class, you can do them small group, lots of ways to kind of build those games in. And then we have comic strips. Love our comic strips for a number of reasons. One, a lot of our templates will have these resource pages, like that has cats with no faces, then it has their faces, then it has the speech bubbles. So your younger learners or those who are going to get really bogged down in the element library can copy and paste or just drag and drop. Or you can just give them a blank comic strip and let them have some fun. Again, you can really elevate these by adding animation. They can take pictures of themselves and put them in their comic strips, remove the background. And I had 5th graders putting themselves in their comic strips the other day. Lots of fun ways to kind of reimagine a comic strip as well. And I swear I'm almost done. This is the last one, reflecting in the classroom. I know this one is slide heavy up front, but student reflection is important. It's a part of the process that often gets left out, but we have a ton of great reflection templates. This could be, again, independent reflection, reflection on a group project. You could do whole class reflection in that exit ticket, or a formative assessment. And so they can record themselves, they can handwrite, they can add in text or image. Lots of ways to do that. So reflecting on learning is also important. We have lots of great reflection templates. If you're logged into Canva, we're going to take a few minutes to explore through our template library and see what you find now that I've given you a whole bunch of ideas and different things you can search for. Because this is the first session for a lot of people, one thing I want to remind everybody of when you log into Canva and when your students log into Canva, it is important in the upper left-hand corner that you see your name, the name of your school in the upper left-hand corner. So you want to make sure you see your school. You want to make sure students see the name of their school in that upper left-hand corner. So that is important. So that's number one. And then the second thing, just a note, everything that you create, anything that you open, anything that you work on is going to automatically save, and it's all going to save to projects. So if you're looking for anything after this session, go into your projects tab, into this folder area, and see what you will be able to see anything that you've opened. Even if you made no edits, if you just open a template and then close it because you want to find it again later, it will save to your projects tab. So you'll have everything in here. You can create folders in here to keep yourself organized as well.
Hey, Janice, I just want to point out, so if you or your students do not see the school where they are, please put in a ticket. We are syncing with our system, so they should be correct, but we have found a few instances where, kids' emails or names have changed or staff. So put in an IT ticket if you run into that problem.
Perfect. If you had Canva prior to the district bringing it on board, you might also have a drop down full of things here. Like I have one that has my name on it, might say your class, those kind of things. If you do have other teams under here, just make sure you're always building in that school team. It does not mean that what you're creating is public to the school. It's just like your Google Drive. It's private to you. You're just under the same umbrella. So just keep that as kind of a quick side note. Okay, so your projects, that's like your drive for Canva. And then you have all these quick buttons here. You can search for any one of those templates that we just talked about. You can use the search here, search for any of those templates. You can also use the templates tab on the left to explore our template library. We have lesson packs. You can browse by grade level and subject. It's going to give you just different suggestions. Mine looks different than others. Mine shows infographics, newsletters, schedules, group work. There's a group work one in here. Group work is another great search term. We have lots of great collaborative templates for group work, and things like that. And both schools are in Canva. Can she share create? Okay. Great question in the chat about sharing. Yes, you can. So if you have a student who's transferred schools or you have transferred schools, you can change and share projects. You would go into the old school, go to the projects tab, find the project or put the projects into a folder. You can do this with whole folders or individual designs, but you have a 3-dot menu next to the design or the folder. And then you choose copy to another team, and then it goes into the new team. So if they transferred, you can have them copy it over to the new school. It doesn't move it, but it does make a copy, or you can do it with independent designs. Really great question. So templates, you can explore and scroll. Again, group work, brainstorm, mind map, infographic, so many different ones, checklist, schedule, you name it, newsletter. You can again always use the search bar, but I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to just dig through templates now that I've sort of given you a whole bunch of ideas and see what you can find. And then I'll just share a few tools that are important when you're thinking about student use in the classroom that you may not know about in Canva, or that kind of get buried sometimes, that kind of help elevate some of these projects. So if you want to find a comic strip or something to play around in, we'll talk through a couple tools. Let's take about, we're going to take 4 minutes to let you kind of explore those templates. You can browse the template library, you can search for things. And again, if you click on something and you choose customize and you open it, it's going to automatically save, so you can come back to it later if you're not ready to use it yet. If you find one you like, just open it, then go back to Canva's homepage and keep searching. Perfect. So just a quick note with the timer, because I always get asked this. Presentations and whiteboard templates specifically have timers built into the toolbar down here. So you can change minutes and seconds. You can grab different sound effects. Presentations and whiteboards have those timers built in. I'm going to start in a comic strip, and I'm going to share a couple tools that you can use to kind of elevate your designs. And then I'm actually going to show you just a quick whiteboard snippet as well. Again, you'll notice a lot of these templates have resource pages attached for students who need a little bit of scaffolding, or you could take something really simple and edit and modify it, or let students really dive into the element library themselves. So a couple things. I'm going to start and just, you could do this in any design type. I'm just going to do it in a comic strip. In this comic strip here, on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to elements. Let's say I was building comics. What's really fun is because you can type in different things. So maybe I'm creating a comic strip and I want a person. I can type in person, I could type in student, I could be really specific, or I could say something like walking. I don't know, I always use this example, but there's lots of ways to do this. So I'm gonna grab like this guy here. Maybe he's walking while he's reading his book. What's fun is because we already have animated graphics, we can make things like comic strips really come to life, or infographics or presentations. Maybe I want to add a rock. Maybe there's a rock in his way. We'll put a rock in here. It'll be a giant boulder. Maybe I can do, I don't know, a butterfly. These are my go-tos because I do this all the time. I'm not very creative on the spot. But notice we have animated, we have non-animated. We can add in different things. I'm going to turn that one around. So what's fun is that you can really build like cool, like in comic strips, you know, whatever it might be. But not only do we have animated graphics, but if I click on an object in my design, could be animated, could be static, it could be a text box. When I click on an object, I have the option across the top to animate even further. So I can choose animate here, and then I can animate. We have all kinds of different animations, but one that kind of gets buried is this create an animation. So under this create an animation, I can click on that. I can drag my little walking guy however I want. Maybe I want him to jump over the rock. He will follow whatever path I draw. So maybe I want him to look like he's climbing over the rock. You can toggle the little switch on and he'll move that way. We can do it again. I'll show you with the butterfly. You choose the butterfly. You can choose animate, create an animation, and then it will follow whatever path. The faster you go, the faster it goes. If you toggle the switch on, it will follow the path. So it sort of like does the little flippies. But again, you can use it to be creative. You could also use this to have students demonstrate their understanding of something, how something is graphed, how something moves, how food moves through your body, how planets orbit, you name it, because they can move a text box, pictures, graphics, things like this. Lots of different ways to kind of be creative with that animation just for fun or for demonstration of understanding. So adding an animated graphic, animating it further, that's a fun option in things like comic strips. So that's under elements. I added different things here. If you do search for something, maybe I want a dog, under graphics, you can actually use the little filter bars to find specifically animated ones. I can check animated. Now here's all of my animated dogs that I could use. Maybe I want this little guy, he's blinking, and put him in there. Can I find a Kentucky Wildcat? I don't know, probably. I found there's a graphic in here. I live in a very small town outside of Seattle. I typed in the name of my town and it had a graphic for my tiny little town. So there's 100 million elements in here. So lots of options. So that's one option. We have, again, a full photo library. Maybe I want to put these guys at the beach. I can put in a photo and I can change, add the photos as a background. I could add video. We have a full video library. We have an audio library, again, sound effects, all kinds of different things. Charts, if you're doing infographics, we have custom charts where you can add custom data. But then under elements, you also have this AI image generator. So I always share this one too. It's kind of moved around a little bit, but it is one piece of AI that's really fun. Under elements, AI image generator, you can generate your own images. Maybe students aren't finding what they're looking for in our photo library, or they don't want to build it, or they're looking for a different background that doesn't exist. Maybe I want to add a background to my comic strip and I want, I don't know, pink palm trees on a green lake. Maybe that's really where I want my thing to take place. You can do historical figures in here. You can practice language, lots of things to create and generate your own images. Maybe this is fun. Maybe I want this to be my backdrop and put it in there. And then I can have this be we'll move it backwards. There we go. Now my little dog is in a green lake with pink palm trees. So again, you take it however, there's so many ways to use this, but you can generate your own images using that AI image generator. So animation, graphics, photos, videos, sound, charts, everything lives in this elements tab. Those are the first few I wanted to highlight. The other thing that I want to highlight that is also part of our AI, I'm actually going to switch from a comic strip. I'm going to go back to Canvas homepage. And I'm going to use our whiteboard template. This is pretty brand new. So even if you've dabbled in whiteboards, this portion's a little bit newer. So I just wanted to share because I think I'm actually going to type in education whiteboard instead. I'm going to search. This is fairly new. And so I like to highlight it now because I think as you think about exit tickets, formative assessment, brainstorming, there's so many great uses for this. Let me find a good one real fast. We'll do this one. This will work. In a whiteboard, again, you have infinite space. So this is something a little different as you're talking about working with students. You have infinite space in a whiteboard. I'm actually going to I don't need all this. Take out this part too. But let's say you have a whiteboard like this that has some sticky notes. Maybe you have students brainstorming and they're listing advantages and disadvantages. Maybe you're having them, maybe it's a quick one dipstick check. One thing you learned today? What's one question you have? So super easy. If you have sticky notes on a page, so students under elements, when you're in a whiteboard, you can write sticky notes, which are a little different than a square. So you have sticky note options here. Put a yellow one in there too. So I could write in my idea. Everybody can add their own. Something that just launched from Canva is if I click, hold, and I select all the sticky notes or some of the sticky notes, even if I get all this background and all these graphics in there, that's okay. If I grab all the sticky notes, a menu will pop up. Mine is in a weird spot, so apologies. It's down here at the bottom. But you'll notice there's a little tiny button that says sort. So this is new for sticky notes in a whiteboard. But if you had every student contribute a sticky note, you could highlight them all, choose sort, and it will sort by color. It'll sort by name, so by student, or it'll sort by topic where AI will read what's on the sticky notes and it will organize them in topics. So if you have students write one question they have and then sort it, you can see what the topics of the questions are. So it will do all that work for you. It will actually write the topics. I don't know, these have no text in them, so it's not very, so scheduling conflicts, duplicates, well-being. So it wrote what it thinks the topics are. Yep, you can have students join the presentation. I'll talk about sharing, but you could have all the students hop in, share a sticky note, and then you could do this and then sort for you. Yep. Students can come in and add text or sticky notes or whatever they want. Let's talk about that really quickly and also talk about Google Classroom. So let's say I have this whiteboard, and actually, how many do we have here? Well, let's say we have this whiteboard and I want students to come in and share with me. I would go to share. I would change the link right here so that anyone in my school can edit. I choose copy link. I paste that into Google Classroom. Students click on it, they're added to this design, and then everybody can generate a sticky note, write their answer, and they're good to go, or text, or add a graphic, whatever it might be. So change it so the school, anyone in the school can edit. You still have to intentionally share the link, let them edit. Here's a really great management strategy. If I taught middle school, so I have middle school teacher brain, but if you have kids that are collaborating and they are adding sticky notes and things like that, if you no longer want them to be collaborating after they leave your room, like maybe you give them 5 minutes to fill out the exit ticket, you can come in here and change this link back from can edit to can view. So it lets them see what they wrote without continuing to edit. So that's a really great strategy as well if you don't want your kids in there where you're not paying attention. But you could let them collaborate and change that link. If you wanted to share like a template with all the students, let's say you give them a blank comic strip, you can go to share, you can go to more. So you can go to share, you can go to more. And then as you scroll down, one of the options will be Google Classroom. So let's talk Google Classroom. So share, more, Google Classroom. If you hit continue, you find your class, and then you choose an action. If you create an assignment, it is going to automatically generate a template link, which means that students, when they click on it, will be forced to make their own copy of this design. So they'll get their own copy. The key with Google Classroom and assignments is you have to put a due date in for them to be able to submit it back to you. So make sure you put a due date in there or they won't be able to find it. So share, more, Google Classroom, create an assignment, you can send it out, you fill out all the information. Students go to Google Classroom, they click on it, it will force them to make a copy. They can then work in it. They go to share, Google Classroom, and send it back. So you can easily share and have students submit. If you create something, maybe you create slides and you just want them to look at the slides. You don't need them interacting with it. You're just giving them the slides to view or a checklist or whatever. Share and then public view link. That's one way where you can just share with families. Share, and it does not require a Canva sign-in. You as a teacher can share a public view link. It's like full screen present mode of your design. So anyone with the link can view the design. And links in Canva are always live. So if you make an edit, it's going to automatically update. So if you're sharing, if you want to collaborate, you change this link. If you want to just have people look at it, you use public view. You can use the Google Classroom button to send assignments. You can also go to share, more, and template link, and then just paste that link into Google Classroom if you don't want to necessarily give them an assignment, but maybe you create like a calendar page and you want them to be able to open it as many times as they need. You can always share a template link. If you create something and a colleague wants it and you don't want to give them the original, template link will force the copy as well. So lots of ways to share and collaborate with students, whatever you might need. Let's talk about that really quickly since we are talking student learning. We do have a teacher resource page, but with this teacher resource page, some really cool things. We have a teacher course where you can walk through your self-paced teacher course. You will also have a student course. If you want to put this out there on Google Classroom and let students work themselves through this to learn how to use Canva, it's great for all ages. I've seen it done in station rotation in 3rd grade. I've seen it posted in high school courses, you name it. We have cheat sheets on our AI studio. We have all kinds of things in here teacher cheat sheets, different template types, ways to create lessons, the editor. Hey, this is new. Canva updates all the time. The yearbooks is new. We have comments. Commenting is new. Teaching through student reflection, reflecting on learning. These are all new. This is great. We have tutorials that are all really short. And then as you get down to the bottom, we have more student resources. We have learn and plays. These are part of our course, but they're kind of broken down: how to add elements, how to customize text, add video, record themselves. Oh, I didn't talk about recording yourself. I'll see if I can squeeze that in. And then we have some student tutorials that are short videos: how to record a group presentation, how to make a chart or a graph, how to create an infographic. So again, really great ways, lots of great student resource. The last thing I'll share, and I forgot to share it a second ago, but this is, I also think I said it so many times that I want to make sure you know where this button is. The last tool in Canva that I think is important and helpful when you're creating in Canva, especially with students, is under uploads, where you can bring in your own pictures, video, and audio. Under uploads, you have the option to record yourself. So I kept saying students don't ever have to leave Canva. Just another way they can just hop in, hit record themselves. You can record yourself. You can record yourself and your screen. You can record just your screen, anything open on your whole device. You can layer video over video. So I used to do historical newscasts with my kids. They had to research a time period, put themselves in that time period, and report the news as if it were happening in real time. They could do all of that in Canva. They can put themselves in comic strips, things like that. So uploads, record yourself. The best part of record yourself is if you record over multiple pages, it will break the video apart for you, place it on each page. So if you mess up somewhere, you just delete the little part you messed up on and re-record. You don't have to start over or edit any video. So uploads, record yourself. And stay tuned. Our yearly event is at the end of next month. So in about 30 days, we have not tons, but some new stuff rolling out. Actually, you guys want a sneak peek? This just came out. I don't know if it's available to most people now. It's going to continue to kind of roll out. People have been asking for this for the 2 years that I worked at Canva. So I think this is a great opportunity. This is brand new. I'm going to grab a couple text boxes. I always get asked, can I make a bulleted list and have things come in when I click them? It used to be the answer was no, but under that same animate tab, y'all, we have a brand new appear on click. You can make things appear on click now, which you used to not be able to do, which sounds so simple and silly, but we used to get asked all the time. You can grab all these, appear on click, and then when you are in present mode, they will not pop in until you click your mouse. That's brand new. If you don't see the button yet, it's coming. Stay tuned. But on click is new for us too. Best way to share links so they stay active, just the same way, share public view link. If you don't need them to interact, just keep using that public view link.